Welcome into Varsity Vibe. Got a treat for you. As you can see, I am joined by Alex Hall. If you don't know Alex, how long have you been around the high school game in Arkansas?
A little over 10 years now.
A long time. And so Alex knows a little bit about everything about basketball, has great connections, a big part of our Varsity Vibe team. You've probably seen him on the baseline with his camera or on the sidelines at a football game too with his camera. But basketball is his jam. And so we're excited to break down the state tournaments that are happening leading to Hot Springs. He tells me his picks are spicy. We're going to see exactly what he's been able to do. He's been looking at these brackets since they came out over the weekend and see who kind of hits to Hot Springs. So this is how we're going to do. We're going to go boys and then girls. We'll start with the 6A and then the 5A and the 4A. And then I just want you to tell me who is going to be playing for a state championship in the 3A, the 2A, and the 1A. You ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
You've got your notepad. You've got your computer. I know that you're ready. So let's go ahead and start here with the 6A boys tournament bracket. And taking a look at this bracket, Alex, what stands out to you the most?
Well, let's go ahead and start with this Central Bentonville game at the top of the bracket. I guess what stands out to me the most is the way 6A is lined up compared to the rest of the other classifications. So the 1 and the 2 seed have byes in 6A, so that's what stands out to me.
Sure.
The rest of the classifications don't have that luxury. But I think I want to start out with this Central Bentonville game. It's spicy, like you said. It's got a big headline. These two teams have already played this season. It was a 7-point win for Bentonville back in December. I feel like it depends on what defense is going to show up for Bentonville and what offense is going to show up for Central. Central's really young. They've got a lot of really good shooters. Trey, Clay Blair, I could go on. But they're really young. They're a lot of sophomores. And Bentonville is kind of the same way. They've got one senior, so both of these teams are pretty young. I'm going to pick Bentonville to win this game, but it's going to be close.
So, you know what I also think is very curious, and I love this matchup because I got to have some time to sit down with Coach Kyle Pennington at Bentonville, and Shelby Lewis was an assistant for him at Russellville. Yep. And so these two coaches know each other really, really well. It's going to be more of a coaching matchup, too, with these two teams because they know how each other plays.
I agree 100%. They go back, like you said. And this is it's a 4-5 matchup, so it's going to be close. Either way, it's a 50-50 toss-up. I'm leading with Bentonville. Now, this game's being played in Bryant.
Right.
So does Central's fan base show out? Maybe, maybe not. Playoffs are kind of weird. I think this game's on a Tuesday, and so they play at 5:30 p.m. School will be out, so the kids can go. It's close. I don't know how well Bentonville is going to travel down to Bryant is the thing. I'm going with defense wins championships. I think Bentonville is a better defensive team. I'm going with the Tigers beating the Tigers.
You mentioned byes, by the way. Harbor and North Little Rock getting those byes at the top of the bracket. Bryant and Fayetteville getting the byes at the bottom of the bracket. Bryant and Fayetteville being on the same side, having to beat each other to get to Hot Springs is spicy to me. I would have loved to kind of see that split and potentially be an opportunity in Hot Springs to win a championship. But what do you think about that bottom half of the bracket?
The bottom half of the bracket is really, really tough. I think Conway's really underrated. I think Rogers is underrated. Jonesboro, you can't count out Coach Swift ever. And then you got Bryant and Fayetteville, right? I mean, Bryant's a juggernaut. I think Bryant's a pretty sure pick for me. I'm going to go ahead and say I've got Bryant in the state championship. I don't see anybody on the bottom half of this bracket beating Bryant. But I do think there might be a couple of upsets. I think Rogers and Jonesboro is Rogers can beat anybody. They can also lose to anybody. It's just they're very inconsistent, in my opinion, from what I've seen. And Jonesboro has Coach Swift, who's one of the best coaches in Arkansas State history. So that matchup is really interesting. The Springdale-Conway matchup is really interesting, and I'll tell you why. Conway just ended the season on a 2-point loss against Bryant. So I don't think, from what I've seen, Springdale can hang with Bryant at all. I think they struggle a little bit offensively. I think Conway upset Springdale. Again, this game's being played in Bryant. I mean, it's in their backyard. I'm going Conway to upset Springdale. They're going to have a rematch with Bryant. I'm going with Coach Swift to beat Rogers.
Okay.
I think Jonesboro gets past Rogers, and then that 2-3 matchup in the next round with Fayetteville and Jonesboro is going to be really, really interesting.
Yeah, I think so. Is there a team in this bracket that could surprise some people? I think I have one. I want to see what you think.
Bentonville West.
There it is.
And
There it
North
is.
Little Rock, and they're going to end up playing each other.
Right.
And that game is another toss-up.
Yep.
I think Landon Price has really made a name for himself. I think he's really, from the past year to this year, I think he's really improved a lot. And I think that shows on the court.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. Bentonville West was my answer because of the way that they've played down the stretch and the way that they've beaten teams. And they have beaten Fayetteville, and they have beaten Bentonville, and they've beaten Harbor. And I think they're a team that if they are playing well and Landon Price is playing well, that they could probably beat anybody except for maybe Bryant. But at the same time, if there is a team on here that could go on a run and maybe make it to Hot Springs, I think West could do some damage.
I like it. I like the pick.
Thank you. All right, so who is going to be in Hot Springs?
My picks for Hot Springs, and you're not going to like it. I've got Bryant against North Little Rock.
Okay.
I've got the Charging Wildcats making it to the state championship.
Okay.
I think that they're a complete team. I don't think that they were fully healthy at the beginning of the season. And they've really impressed me going down the stretch. I know they lost to Bryant here recently, but they also beat Bryant in Bryant.
Right.
And they don't have to play Bryant and Bryant anymore. They're on opposite sides of the bracket. So if these two teams match up, it's going to be in Hot Springs.
Right.
Their fan bases are both going to show out.
It'll be a packed house. Again, they've played twice
100%.
already. That series split 1-1. You know, you just picked two Central Arkansas teams to head to Hot Springs, which is fine. And so I'm curious, how much does location, and you've mentioned it, it's in Bryant. A lot of these Central Arkansas teams can travel easier to Bryant than these Northwest Arkansas teams. Do you think location plays a factor in these results?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and you can argue that both ways. You know,
Well, I was going to say, it could be up here, and maybe some things are a little bit different. If Fayetteville's playing in their home gym, maybe things are a little different.
right. So last year, Bryant had to come play. The 6A was hosted at Springdale, and Bryant had to come up play Springdale. They had to play Harbor in Springdale to make it to the state championship. They ended up winning. So you can make the argument both ways, but with Bryant hosting and the team they have this year, I just don't see them losing.
It's a factor for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so who wins it all?
I'm going the Hornets. I think they go back to back.
All right, back to back for Coach Abramson. I love it. All right, let's go to the girls in the 6A. And as you get ready to bring up that bracket, Alex, again, as you mentioned in the 6A, these teams have byes. Harbor will also have a bye in the top of the bracket, as will Little Rock Central. And then you have North Little Rock and North Side with those byes in the bottom half. And so when you look at this now, what jumps out to you about the girls bracket in the 6A?
I think it's interesting that Conway and Springdale are playing again. They're both 4-5 once again, matched up in the first round.
Sure.
I think North Little Rock is really special this year. I think it's going to be really hard to get past the Charging Wildcats. I think Coach Fimple and Katie Fimple are a problem. I think they're a dynamic duo down there on the court. Coach Fimple is so much fun to watch. He's a really good coach, and he's just a good person. And just to see this season that they've had so far has been awesome, to be honest with you. You know, you like to see good people do good. And so seeing him have the senior year with his daughter that they've had, it's going to be hard to beat them. Now, Northside's really good. They're on North Little Rock side of the bracket.
Sure.
Harbor's really good.
Yeah.
Springdale is a dark horse.
Okay.
In my opinion.
Okay.
Bentonville West is good. They're really young.
Yeah.
I need to see how they handle. I think they handle Cabot. I need to see how they handle Central. What do you think, Alyssa?
You know, I've looked at this. I don't think Harbor is going to trip themselves up. They're not a team right now that has proven throughout the season that they beat themselves. And so anyone who's going to take down Harbor has to beat them at their own game. You're not going to be able to take advantage of much weakness, because I don't think Harbor has very many, and they're playing really, really well right now. Northside is a very interesting team for me as well because they lost Cameron Schmidt and a lot of these younger girls have stepped up. You're going to need a really good postseason from Paisley Hogan. You're going to have girls step up on that Northside team. But again, you also have a coach in Ricky Smith who has done this for a long enough time.
Right.
He knows how to get his teams ready for the postseason. And that could be a team that could easily make a run and maybe hit North Little Rock in a opportunity to go to Hot Springs. But I think you're right. I mean, North Little Rock is probably the best team out of the Central, obviously. Harbor's the best team out of the West. And I love, obviously, the fact that they're on two separate sides of the bracket where they can meet in Hot Springs. You asked me this question a couple weeks ago prior to Cameron Schmidt's injury, who I thought could be in Hot Springs. And I said Northside Harbor meeting for the third time for a state championship. I don't necessarily think that's the case anymore because of the injuries they've sustained, but I think Harbor gets there. And I think North Little Rock makes a run. I think Harbor wins a state championship this year.
Really?
I do.
Okay, that would be kind of an upset for, I think, North Little Rock to lose to Harbor.
Okay. Hey, that's your opinion. I love it. No, I love it.
I
Okay.
think that's my state championship
Sure.
as well.
Okay.
I've got Harbor and North Little Rock in the girls' state championship. The game's in Hot Springs.
It is.
And so I feel like that North Little Rock would be my favorite.
Yeah, but people travel. Look, once you get to Hot Springs, your fan base is going to show up, and that arena I've heard is a really cool atmosphere. So I'm excited to experience it for the very first time.
It's your first time?
First time.
Oh, it's going to
down
be so
in
much
Hot
fun.
Springs, a part of the AAA broadcast down there. So I'm excited. Going to do some radio broadcasts too. So
And they've got the
I'm
game
looking
timing
forward to
track
it.
this year. So that's going to be
they're going to
another
do
cool
it by
thing.
classifications, and that's brand new, and that could easily play a factor in the environment where they're doing the classifications by day. So Saturday night. And just Saturday in general are your 5A and 6A state title games. It's going to be rocking in Hot Springs on Saturday for sure. But the rest of the weekend, obviously, down there, going to be exciting too. Okay, let's move on to the 5A, and I'll let you get your bracket started because we know we have a lot of opinions about that one as well. And we'll start with the boys. And now there are no buys because of the way that this one maps out, as you mentioned. But Farmington, your number one team at the top of the bracket. You've got Benton as your number one team in the bottom of the bracket, as well as Marion on the east and Little Rock Parkview down there in the central. I mean, this feels spicy, right? Like when you look at this with a Farmington team, if they win, having to play JJ Andrews potentially and Little Rock Christian, Marion, having to sit there and have to go through Sheridan and Greenbrier, and then they'll face Farmington. All of these teams right now have, I think, the talent to make a run. How do you feel?
This bracket's loaded. I mean, 5A is loaded. You can make an argument for almost every game
Sure.
in the first round. And then beyond that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that there's going to be an upset somewhere
Okay.
in this round. I don't know if I'm going to pick it right, but we're going to figure that out. I think that this Farmington Nettleton game is a trap game for Farmington.
Really?
I do. I'm picking
And this is at Farmington.
Is it? Yes.
So we
5A
also need
yeah.
to location wise, the 5A state tournament is at Farmington.
Nettleton started the season off a little bit rough. TJ Whitney was injured for the beginning of the season. I'm not sure for how long, but I know he's back now. TJ Whitney's a hooper. Now I don't think Coach Taylor's not going to be able to coach around him and plan for him. This game's being played at Farmington, and it's at 2:30 p.m. on a Tuesday, so the students are going to show out. I think the girls play right before, so the students are going to be there. It's going to be packed. I think the Cardinals get past Nettleton, but don't count Nettleton out. I think TJ Whitney is really good, and he's going to be a game changer. Now, with that being said, you're going against Eli Schwartzman. You're going against Press Taylor. You're going against Press's dad, Coach Taylor. I mean, I don't have to say anything about Coach Taylor. Everybody that's watching this is going to know about Coach Taylor.
Sure.
He's been there, done that. I think they get past the first round. And then, they're going to run into Little Rock Christian in the second round, and things get weird there. They get a little spicy, like you said. I think the top half of this bracket is, I mean, it's a gauntlet. It's just so tough. for any one of these teams, for Farmington, Little Rock Christian, Marion, for any one of these teams to get to the state championship, for Farmington to get to the state championship, they got to get through Nettleton. They've got to beat Little Rock Christian and J.J. Andrews. They've got to beat Marion, who's been making some serious noise this year.
Yeah.
It's tough. The bottom half of this bracket is a little bit easier, in my opinion, but you still have Benton and Parkview. Anyways, what are your thoughts on 5A?
Yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right. Like I mentioned, I think you can look at this and make an argument that anyone could beat anyone on any given day, the way that everyone is playing right now. And it's just hard to think about, okay, wow, like Farmington, okay, that makes sense. They've played really well all year, but oh my God, now they're going to have to play J.J. Andrews. Well, shoot, they're going to have to play a Marion team that early on tested themselves. We saw them in the non-conference, how well they played up here at the NWA Classic at Bentonville and Bentonville West against some really good opponents. Okay, well, Benton's obviously playing really well, as is Little Rock Parkview. It's hard to pick them, which is why we're putting it on your shoulders. Who's heading to Hot Springs? Because it's going to get spicy. And I think we've seen a lot of excitement down the stretch with basketball here in the last couple of weeks of the regular season. Buzzer beaters, overtime wins. I think we're going to see some buzzer beaters and overtime wins in this bracket more than any other bracket that we have.
There's going to be a lot of close games in this, and that's why it's so hard to pick who's going to win.
But that's your job, Alex.
Well,
who we got?
So let's get to the first round here.
Okay.
I want to do Little Rock Christian Hot Springs is going to be interesting. Coach Hayes is a really good coach. If Jay Sean Hayes was playing this game would be really fun. He's at UAPB now. Van Hayes is a freshman. He's probably Hot Springs' best player. He's going to be really good in a couple years, but I don't know if they have enough to take down J.J. Andrews and company.
Okay.
Marion Van Buren, I'm picking Marion. Marion's looked really sharp. Sheridan Greenbrier is another kind of 50-50 trap game, in my opinion. I'm going to pick Sheridan because of Jace Gatlin. He's been playing really well. Jace is shooting the heck out of the ball. Shout out, Jace. Benton Maumelle, this game's really interesting because this is a rematch of the state championship from last year. And Maumelle has lost so many games to close. They've lost so many close games to good teams by 4 points. They've lost by 4 points every time they play a good team outside of Little Rock Christian. And so they're 4 points away from being able to figure out how to get past Benton. I don't think they figured it out yet. I think they have a good coach. I think Anthony Spratt and Javarius are just too much for Maumelle. I think Benton gets past Maumelle in a state title rematch. Greene County Tech and Mountain Home is another toss-up. Greene County Tech shoots the ball really well. Mountain Home is kind of gritty.
Okay.
I'm going Mountain Home for the upset.
Okay.
I'm picking an upset in this matchup. That one might come back to bite me in the butt because I think Greene County Tech is a team that could potentially match up well with Benton. I don't think Mountain Home does. But I'm picking Mountain Home to win that game. I've got Parkview beating Arkansas, Texarkana. I don't know. I think that's Texarkana. And then Alma, West Memphis. Tough. It's tough. I'm going with Alma. They've got a kid that can really shoot the three. West Memphis plays really good defense. I'm kind of going against my logic there, what I said earlier with Bentonville. But I'm picking Alma to win this game. I've got a good feeling about the Airedales. Who's going to win? Who's going to be in the state championship? I've got who's going to beat J.J. Andrews? Like, seriously, right now in his senior year?
Farmington?
I don't know.
Not the second round?
I don't think so. I've got Little Rock Christian beating Farmington, and that's another state championship rematch.
Right, and they're heading to Hot Springs. You got J.J. Andrews taking them to Hot Springs.
I do.
Okay, and from the bottom, who we got?
The bottom, I've got Benton and Parkview in the state semis.
Okay.
That game is a really hard game for me to pick. I'm going Jacob Lanier. I'm going Patriots. Parkview is going to be in the state championship against Little Rock Christian. These two teams went 1-1. Parkview won without JJ. JJ came back. Little Rock Christian won. This game is going to be at a neutral site. They're going to play in Hot Springs. I know I'm going 501 again. I'm picking Little Rock
I was about
Christian
to say, another
Parkview.
Stacked bracket here, and you're still picking two teams from the Central to make it all the way.
I'm picking Little Rock Christian and Parkview, and I've got the Warriors winning it all. I don't think anybody can guard. I don't think anybody can guard JJ. You asked if Farmington could beat them. I don't know who's going to guard JJ. They don't have anybody that can slow JJ down, and that's not a diss to Farmington. They've had a great season. But you're going to have to double JJ. That's going to leave Justice Moore open. That's going to leave Easton Boggs open. Those guys are ballers. Like, Little Rock Christian's more athletic than Farmington. I don't think Farmington hosting plays a factor in this game.
Okay.
I've got the Warriors.
Okay. Now, on the girls' side, here we go. And of course, your number one team out of the West, Farmington. Your number one team out of the East. Let me pull up the girls. I pulled up the boys on accident. Is Greene County. And then you've got Lake Hamilton out of the South and Valonia out of the Central. I think when you just look at this from my perspective very quickly, and again, you'll break this all down. Jumping out right here, I think Farmington and Valonia are the two best teams for girls in the 5A. They can make it to Hot Springs. But once again, Little Rock Christian is sitting out there with Whitley Rogers. You've got a lot of other really talented teams that could make a run and get hot.
Whitley Rogers is hungry. You know, they haven't ever been to the state semis.
And we talked to her last week. And in the interview, when she sat down with me, she talks about always playing with a chip on her shoulder and wanting, having something to prove, which is a very interesting thing to say as the number one player in the state and your 2025 Gatorade Player of the Year, to go out mad with a chip on her shoulder. But that's how she plays. And she wants to end her high school career, as does everybody, with a state title.
Wouldn't that be awesome if Little Rock Christian won both?
It would, you know what? Two high school sweethearts winning state titles.
That's
and then heading to the hill.
We're watching Love and Basketball.
That is Love and Basketball in real life. It is, and that would be a really, really sweet story. You got to get through Easton McCullough and Farmington.
Not gonna happen. The story's not going to happen. I hate
you don't know, but
and I'm a Little Rock Christian guy.
Yeah,
I am through and through. They've got a really bad second round matchup with Farmington. In Farmington, they've got to face Easton McCullough. They've got to face Sadie. They got to face Coach McCullough. Farmington can shoot the ball so well, and they play really good defense. Farmington is a complete team. Little Rock Christian has been a little bit inconsistent this year. They've lost to Valonia, I think, more than once. I know they lost to Valonia. Little Rock Christian they beat the teams that they're supposed to beat, and they kind of fall short against these better teams. That's just what's happened so far. Now, anything can happen on any day. They've got a really good roster. They do. Little Rock Christian has players outside of Whitley Rogers. Whitley Rogers is a story, but Little Rock Christian does have some good shooters. I don't see them getting past Farmington and Farmington. I can't justify it. But I mean, we're talking about a girl that's averaging 40.
I hear you.
And
you're not going to convince me
they're
anything.
all mercy roll games.
And you're allowed to have your opinions are your opinions. Again, like, put it out there.
She's sitting by the third quarter.
Okay. You're saying that Easton McCullough is going to sit by the third quarter in that game?
I'm saying she sits by this third quarter normally, and she still averages 40.
I was like, that is a take, Alex. She's going to be that's a take. But I hear you. Yes, absolutely.
Let me fix that. Sorry,
the way that she's shooting right now, compared to just the minute she's playing, is phenomenal. And yeah, that team in Farmington again, and they're winning games too, Alex, not just with their offense, but with their defense when they need it. And I think that's what makes them a complete team, is they can do both. Not only can they outscore you, but they do it also by preventing your best players from scoring on the defensive end. They're not just out there putting on a track meet, trying to just outscore you and hope that their 90 is more than your 80. They're putting up 90 and holding you to 50.
Exactly.
So it is a very, very talented team over there in Farmington. Okay, so who comes out at the top of the bracket?
Farmington.
Who comes out of the bottom of the bracket?
I would like to make a case for Greene County Tech.
Okay.
They've played really well this season, and they can shoot the ball really well. They're not getting past Farmington.
Okay, but you think they'll meet in the semifinals?
I do think you see that matchup. Yeah, I think you see Farmington and Greene County Tech play each other in the state semis, and I think that's going to be a really fun game. I've got the Cardinals.
Okay. All right. In the bottom half.
Bottom of the bracket, I've got. I don't want to pick Lake Hamilton, but I'm going to pick them to be in the state semis. Because I like this Nettleton team. This team is really interesting. And I like Mountain Homes girls team as well. Valley View's got a good team. Like, that game is a complete toss up. The state semis, I've got Valonia and Lake Hamilton, and I've got Bologna getting past the Wolves.
Okay.
It's going to be Farmington and Bologna. It's going to be Easton McCullough versus Matty Mannion. And I've got the Cardinals going back to back to back to back to back. I don't think I might be lowballing there.
Yeah.
Farmington is going to win it all.
They're talented enough to do it. I mean, it's hard to not pick them, to be honest. And as much as I think both of us is like, we'd love to be surprised.
Yeah.
But I don't think that surprise is coming this season. And I think you're absolutely right. That'll be a fun matchup, Valonia and Farmington in Hot Springs on Saturday. All right, let's move to the 4A as we continue to move along here with our brackets. Let's pull those up. And our boys here, the number 1 team in the top. You have Brooklyn and Shiloh Christian. And then down at the bottom, Magnolia and Mills. And so how do you feel about how you feel about this?
That Brooklyn and Shiloh Christian are on the same side of the bracket.
Okay.
That is a disservice to 4A basketball. I'm not a fan of that.
Why is that?
I think those two teams are the best in the state.
Okay.
I think Mills has a really, really good, they can claim that as well. I think Brooklyn and Shiloh Christian would have been in the state championship had they not ended up on the same side of the bracket. I think Hall's playing really well right now.
Mm-hmm.
Ozark played well enough in the 4A1 regional. They were a 3 seed in the regional, and they played well enough. They played into a 2 seed in the state playoff. Shout out to the Hillbillies. That's awesome. I think Ozark gets really far. I think you're going to see Ozark matched up with Mills down here in the what's before the semis?
The quarters.
Yeah, the quarters. I think you're going to see Ozark and Mills in a dogfight.
Okay.
In that game. Morrilton's gonna. I'm gonna do a upset real quick. I've got in the first round. Morrilton's going to beat Magnolia.
Okay.
The 4 is going to beat the 1 seed.
Okay.
This is hosted in Morrilton.
Yeah.
Morrilton's been playing good basketball. They kind of got their butt whipped by Mills recently. I think that puts a bad taste in their mouth. They're hosting. They're going to come out with a chip on their shoulder. I think they knock off the 1 seed in their own stadium.
Gym. Yeah.
I've got them losing to Ozark in the next round.
Okay.
Who's going to be in the state championship?
Who is going to be in the state championship?
Oh, like I said, Brooklyn and Shiloh Christian are going to end up in the semis.
Okay.
That game's so hard to pick. I'm picking Brooklyn. Lane Webster is going to get past the Saints. He's going to take down Shiloh Christian, and they're going to meet up against Mills in the state championship.
I like this Mills basketball team.
I've got Brooklyn and Mills in the state championship. I've got the Comets going back to back.
Okay. I like that. All right. You ready for some drama?
Let's go.
If you haven't seen what happened during the regional tournament in the 4A at Pea Ridge, go to our social media and check it out and let us know. Was the ball still in her hand when the buzzer went off, or was it because the refs thought Pottsville won? Social media thought Pea Ridge won. All that to say, both are still here in this 4A girls, and they're on opposite sides of the bracket, and it could get exciting. But now you've got a 4 seed in Pea Ridge against a 1 seed in Highland, and a very upset, ready for some vengeance 4 seed in Pea Ridge. Is that an upset as you look at the rest of this 4A bracket?
Absolutely. I'm picking the Lady Hawks to win this game. And here's the thing. Highland knows, right? Highland saw what happened.
They're not happy about what happened either because of how that exactly.
Yeah. So Pea Ridge was on the line for a 2-3 seed. You know, they lose in the regional against Pottsville, and they draw a 4 seed. Now they're still in the state championship, but they've got to end up playing the 1 seed, which, you know, is tough for them.
It's a very different road.
But I promise you that 1 seed does not want to play this specific 4 seed. They're coming in with a chip on their shoulder. And I feel like they got cheated out of a game, and they feel like they should have been competing against Shiloh Christian for that regional championship. They didn't get the opportunity to do that. And so, you know, and again, Highland knows all this, but I feel like the Lady Hawks have such a chip on their shoulder. They're going to come out ready to go. They did win that 3rd place game, for the 4A1 state regional. Yeah. And so I'm high on the Lady Hawks right now. I think they've got a fun story, and I think they're kind of the people's team right now. I think, especially being the 4 seed, everybody loves an upset. Sure. I think everybody saw what happened. If you live in Northwest Arkansas, I mean, you saw it's got over 200,000 views, which is awesome, by the way. I think they're the people's team up here. I think P Ridge gets past this first round. What about you?
Yeah, no, I think that one's going to be really interesting, again, as I mentioned, because they're coming in with a massive chip on their shoulder, is P Ridge. Obviously, the other ones, you have Shiloh Christian, you have Nashville, and Pulaski Academy down at the bottom half of the bracket. Even a team like Robinson, you think could probably maybe even make a run down there and meet either a P Ridge or I think Highland, if Highland gets past P Ridge in that first round in the semifinals. But I think too, there's an upset brewing there. And then I think Shiloh probably could also beat Robinson. And then maybe you've got a P Ridge Shiloh Christian matchup that you thought you had in regionals now in the semifinals and an opportunity to go to Hot Springs. It'll be interesting to see what happens there. But man, again, and then think about if you've got this Pottsville team, again, who's feeling really good about this win. That is a win for them. We can sit here and say all we want to. It should have been a P Ridge win, this, that, the other. Doesn't matter. On paper, they won that game. And they're feeling really good about how they came out of regionals. They could make a run in this bottom half of the bracket.
Yeah, so Pottsville ended up with a 2 seed. So
Right.
That's what P Ridge feels like they should have gotten. They end up with a draw against Southside. I do think that Pottsville is good enough to get past Southside. Now, they are going to have to match up with Nashville in the next round. Nashville is nobody's really been talking about Nashville. They don't get covered very much. They are a 1 seed in this bracket. They have a good team. They've got a good resume. Nashville is going to have to end up playing. I think Nashville gets past Pottsville.
Okay.
They're going to have to end up playing Pulaski Academy and Greenlee Elmore, who is a problem. She plays really good AAU ball in the summer. She's been killing it in the regular season for PA. I think the Bruins come out of the bottom half of this bracket. The top half of this bracket is really interesting. I want to sit here and say I've got DeQueen beating Heber Springs, by the way. So I think you're going to see they won the state championship last year. I think they've got a good coach. I think they've got a good program. I think DeQueen gets past Heber Springs in round 1 and they match up with P Ridge in the second round.
Yeah.
I would love to sit here and tell you the Lady Hawks are going to win that game. I think DeQueen gets past P Ridge in the second round. I've got DeQueen, Shiloh in the state semis, and I've got the Saints going to the state championship.
Okay, so who wins it?
I'm going Pulaski Academy.
Pulaski Academy. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Have you picked a Northwest Arkansas team to win something yet? You picked Farmington. That counts. Farmington girls.
I put Shiloh in the state championship twice.
Okay.
And I have them losing
Okay.
both times.
All right. So now we've gone through the 6A, the 5A, and the 4A. And to recap, with the boys, Bryant in the 6A and North Little Rock for the girls. In the 5A, you have Little Rock Christian winning for the boys, and you've got Farmington winning it for the girls. In the 4A, you have Mills winning it in the 4A for the boys, and then you have Pulaski Academy winning it here for the girls. So that's where we are right now. We've still got the 3A, the 2A, and the 1A to go over, Alex. And we're gonna kind of speed through these. We're just gonna talk about the teams you think are gonna get to Hot Springs and compete for a state championship in these next classifications. So pulling up the boys bracket here in the 3A, who is headed to the Spa City?
I've got Subiaco and Osceola.
Okay.
Osceola lost state championship last year in 3A, and I feel like they've got a chip on their shoulder. I know I keep saying that, but they got a taste of Hot Springs last year, and that game ended in a bit of a controversial way with the refs kind of taking control there at the end. So I think that Osceola got the 1 seed. I think they're ready to get back to Hot Springs. I've got Subiaco winning it all. I think they lose twice in a row. I think Subiaco wins the state championship in 3A.
Okay.
What about you?
That's an interesting pick. I'm gonna sit here and I'm not gonna lie to anybody. I don't really know much about 3A boys basketball, so my pick is as good as your pick. To be quite honest,
we're going with Subiaco.
So, all right, we're going with Subiaco. Here we go. Over to the girl side here. And what do you think? Who's heading to Hot Springs on the girl side in the 3A?
I want to make a bold prediction here.
Okay.
I've got Episcopal in the state championship.
Oh, wow.
I think the 2 seed gets. I think Coach Marsh gets to the state championship. This would be a really big deal for Episcopal, by the way. They haven't been to a state championship in a long time. Kind of a smaller private school down there in Little Rock. I think they get to the state championship and they play against Greenland. Greenland's been playing really well with Tegan. They've got a really good team. They got a good coach over there and a good program.
Okay.
I've got Greenland winning the state championship.
Okay. All right. And you have Greenwood winning it all.
I do.
He has finally picked a Northwest Arkansas team, everybody. Lock it in. I like this Mansfield team, but you're already saying right off the bat in the first round they're going to lose to Episcopal. So I'm not complaining at all. I like it. I love your gut feeling, Alex. You stand by that one.
Episcopal has a collegiate player. It's Coach Marsh's daughter, Lady Marsh. She's committed to Arkansas Tech. She played AAU ball with Arkansas Banshees.
Yeah.
I think they have not had a taste of the playoffs and a playoff victory in so long, and she's a senior. It's her last chance to get it with her dad. I think Episcopal makes some noise this year, and I think they make a Cinderella run.
Okay.
Kind of hard to call a 2 seed a Cinderella, but no one's talking about the Wildcats, and I'm sticking with my gut here.
All right, let's go to the 2A boys. Who you got?
Ooh, I want to sit here and tell you Poyen because they have been really fun to keep up with. Sloan Hendricks is fun. Barton is fun. I'm going with England. They've had so much animosity this season.
Okay.
They've got a really good group of senior boys. Jaquan Mays, Lando. They've got a couple of really good players. They were picked to win it all last year, and they got bounced in the first round, kind of got embarrassed.
So they got a chip.
They've got a chip on their shoulder. I don't think that happens this year. This is in Poyen, by the way. 2A boys is being 2A is being hosted in Poyen. So I think Poyen is a really interesting 2 seed. I almost want to say it's going to be Poyen and England. I'm going Mount Vernon and NOLA to the state championship.
Oh, wow. I feel like okay. So you've got Mount Vernon and NOLA playing England.
Yes, I do. I've got the Lions winning it all. Give me the 3 seed.
Okay. I love it. All right. Let's go to the girls' side of things.
I don't know how much I need to say about the girls. I'm picking Poyen. Kennedy Barrett.
Straight to the finish.
Problem. Let me pull up 2A girls. Sorry, I should have had this pulled up.
No,
already.
you're fine.
Poyen's hosting 2A.
Right.
Kennedy put up a double in her last game in the regional championship. In the regional semi, she put up a 40-point triple-double. I don't see anybody stopping Poyen in Poyen. They earned the 1 seed. Who's gonna play with them? Riverside's fun. Quitman's fun. BIC Buffalo Island Central has a good team. Barton has a good team. They're on the same side as Poyen. I would probably have picked Barton.
Okay.
If they weren't on the same side as Poyen. I'm going Riverside to make it to the state championship.
Okay.
I think they have a good program. I'm going Riverside Poyen. Poyen wins it all. Give me the freshman Kennedy Barrett for the MVP.
I love it. All right. On the 1A boys side, who's making it to Hot Springs?
Give me 1 second.
Of course.
Sorry, I've got 15 brackets.
I hear you. I get it. Let's go. Yeah.
Lead Hill kind of got embarrassed last year. Mark Tree got embarrassed last year. I feel like Earl is really good. Earl's got a really good girls team as well. I feel like this is 1A is so hard because there's not a lot of coverage. And so you're really just going off resume here. And a lot of these teams play so many games because a lot of these teams don't have football programs.
Right.
So all the teams that don't have football programs, they get 6 extra games. So that makes it even harder to figure out who's going to win. Okay. I'm going Nevada is going to be in the state championship, and they're going to be playing against Jasper.
Okay.
I've got Earl losing in the state semis to Jasper. That game's a toss-up, and it's probably going to end up biting me in the butt. Watch Earl be in the state championship, but I'm going with my gut here. I'm going Nevada Jasper.
Okay. All right. And the girls' side to round it out here, Alex, your final pick here.
Let's see. Let me pull because I need to pull the girls up. All right. Scranton's good. West Side out there in Heber Springs is really fun to watch. I don't think any of this matters. Earl's gonna win it all.
Okay.
I've got Earl.
There you go. This is going to be fun. How excited are you for postseason basketball?
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. And this starts on Tuesday. I've got such a busy schedule because Bentonville plays, on Tuesday, and then Little Rock Christian, the Farmington matchup is going to be the day after. So I'm going to be all over.
It's going to be a full
place.
week for you.
I'm going to be in 6A, 5A. I do want to give a quick shout out to West Side here. I think West Side makes it to the 1A state championship in the girls on the girls side. I think they lose.
Okay.
Those are my picks.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it, and we're gonna
Edward make a graphic.
Yeah, we're gonna get that made so we can follow along with your picks and see how you are doing as everything unfolds. But of course, Varsity Vibe, as we continue to follow these teams in the postseason, you and your creative team do such a good job of just putting out the highlights and the spotlights on all these athletes and all these teams. And so we want to make sure that you follow us on Instagram, X, TikTok, and Facebook. That's where you're going to see all of this stuff. Our shorts are on YouTube. We've got conversations with our coaches and players over on our YouTube podcast as well, where you're listening to this episode. So this is it. If you want to follow along with what's going on with this state tournament here in Arkansas for high school basketball, girls and boys, Varsity Vibe is your place to be. I know you guys are going to knock it out of the park.
Oh, we can't wait. We're all super excited.
You should be. You should be. All right, Alex, you've now said it out loud. So those are your picks. We're gonna follow you in. Your picks are in. It's been fun sitting here breaking down these brackets with you. Thank you so much for the time. Again, that is Alex Hall. I'm Alyssa Orange. Thank you for joining us as we've broken down the state tournament for the girls and boys high school basketball here in Arkansas. And I'm excited for Hot Springs. We talked about that, but hopefully we're going to see these teams in Hot Springs here in the next couple of weeks, guys. Thanks for tuning in.